Okay, salut. So now we're going to look at the next pronoun, I. Okay, so you've seen that pronoun before. So it's Y obviously, but it's pronounced I. So the pronoun I. The pronoun I replaces aggrave plus a place or a thing, never a person. Now, you just learnt about indirect object pronouns, that's when you replace aggrave plus a person. So only use indirect object pronouns if you're replacing aggrave plus a person. E never replaces aggrave plus a person. E replaces aggrave plus a place or a thing. Now, this is a handy pronoun actually if you wanted to get a pronoun into your written work. So, depending on the context of the sentence, E can mean a couple of things. But the most important one, really, and the most usual one, is it means there. It can also mean to it, at it, about them, about it. So, for example, je vais à Paris means I go to Paris. À Paris is to a place. It's aggrave plus a place. So instead of saying I go to Paris every year, I go to Paris because I love it, I go to Paris with my husband, you want to say I go there. So you replace aggrave plus Paris with the pronoun I because you're replacing aggrave plus a place. Okay? So you put the Y, the E, before the verb. So when you do that, the je and the E come together. Okay? The E is treated like a vowel. So that's why it becomes J apostrophe. All the other subject pronouns are fine. It's just the je before the E. So j'y vais. So je vais à Paris. I go to Paris. I go there. J'y vais. She goes to the shop. Elle va au magasin. So she goes to the shop. She goes there. Okay, so we want to replace to the shop, au magasin, which is originally aggrave, le, a plus le changed to o. So we want to replace au magasin with the pronoun I. So you drop au magasin and you put the I before the verb. Elle y va. Okay, so she goes there. So really, I means there and it replaces aggrave plus a place or a thing. Some more examples. Il est allé à la banque. He went to the bank. He went there. So I replace to the bank, à la banque, which is aggrave plus a place or a thing. In this case, it's aggrave plus a place. I replace it with he went there. So I drop à la banque and I replace it with I and I put it before the verb. In this case, it's a past tense, so put it before your helping verb. Il y est allé. He went there. The next example is je pense aux examens. So I'm thinking about the exams. So it's penser à aggrave plus les examens. Obviously, a plus les changed to o. So instead of saying I'm thinking about the exams, you want to say I'm thinking about them. Okay, I'm thinking about the exams all the time. I'm thinking about them all the time. So you're replacing aggrave plus a thing. So then we use the pronoun I. J'y pense. I'm thinking about them. Elle va à Londres. She is going to London. She is going there. So you're replacing aggrave plus a thing, or aggrave plus a place, I should say. So that's the pronoun I. So put it before the verb. Elle y va. Il allait à la piscine. He used to go to the swimming pool. He used to go there. So you're dropping à la piscine. You're replacing a plus a place with the pronoun I. Put the I before the verb. Il y allait. He used to go there. Okay, you'll often hear these statements in France using the pronoun I if you ever go on holidays there again. Allez-y. Allez-y means go on, go ahead. They're basically saying go there. Be my guest. Go for it. Okay, for example, if you're in the airport and you're going through passport checks, they'll say allez-y, allez-y. They'll tell you go on, go ahead. Work away, basically. If you're saying it to someone you know, you're going to be polite. So you're going to say vas-y, vas-y. You're just using the to part of the verb. Okay? Or allons-y means let's go. Basically, let's go there. So if I was saying, right, are we going to the cinema? Let's go. Allez-y. Let's go to the cinema. You're replacing au cinéma with the pronoun I. Allons-y. Let's go. Okay? The other pronoun then that you have is en. Okay? And we're at the end of the pronouns now. You'll be glad to know. So the pronoun en, en, replaces the preposition de plus a thing. So all along we've been learning how to replace aggrave plus a name, or aggrave plus a place, or aggrave plus a thing. Now we're learning how do you replace the preposition de plus a thing. You replace it with en. Now you won't see this used as often. Depending on the context of the sentence, en can mean of it, of them, or some. Now most of the time it means some. The pronoun en only ever replaces the name of a thing. Okay? So it's de plus a thing. The pronoun en is used for verbs that are followed by the preposition de plus an object or a thing. So here are some typical examples. J'ai besoin de la voiture. So j'ai besoin is avoir besoin de, to need something. So j'ai besoin de, I need, la voiture, the car. So in this sentence, I'm using the preposition de plus a thing. So instead of saying I need the car, I want to say I need it. Okay? So I'm replacing de plus la voiture, de plus a thing, with the pronoun en. If there was no pronoun de there, you would just be using a direct object pronoun. But it has the preposition de plus a thing, so I must use my pronoun en. So instead of saying j'ai besoin de la voiture, drop de la voiture and replace it with en, put it before the verb avoir, j'en ai besoin. Vous avez du beurre? Say you're asking in the restaurant or in someone's house, do you have some butter? Do you have some butter? De le beurre. De plus le changes to do. So that's de plus a thing. So instead of saying, or if you're giving the answer to the question, do you have some butter? Yes, I have some. Some. Okay, drop the du beurre and replace it with un. Oui, j'en ai. Yes, I have some. Il achète du vin. He buys some wine. He buys some wine. It's de le vin, de plus a thing, du vin. Instead of saying he buys wine, he buys some. Okay? So drop the du vin and replace it with un, put it before the verb, il en achète. Now, they're easy to kind of remember to use because if you're using a sentence with food or drink, as you know, you're always using typically the word for some before the food or the drink, if you're not expressing the exact quantity. So it's easy to know then to drop the some. We'll say some butter, some milk, some wine, some bread, and replace it with en. Now, you've actually been using these in your oral work. For example, ils me donnent de l'argent quand j'ai besoin de l'argent. They give me money when I need money. Now, wouldn't it be far better to say, they give me money when I need it, or when I need some? So that's why you use the bottom sentence. Ils me donnent de l'argent quand j'en ai besoin. Okay, you could actually double it there. You could say ils m'en donnent, M'-en. Okay, they give me some when I need some. Ils m'en donnent quand j'en ai besoin. Okay, you could double the pronoun there. So now I'll actually maybe do that in a separate video about double pronouns. So just to recap, the pronoun I, okay, replaces aggrave plus a place or a thing. So typically it means there. It can mean to it or about it, but typically it means there. So I go to Paris, je vais à Paris. I go there, j'y vais. All right. En replaces de plus a thing. De plus a thing. And it can mean some or of it. So think, I need the car, j'ai besoin de la voiture. I need it, j'en ai besoin. Okay, he buys some wine, il achète du vin. He buys some, il en achète. All right, hope that helps.